Okay. Okay, Mother Visakha, over to you. I've just opened up, so you can begin with the prayers and then lead us to the recitation of the chapter 9.
You say Om Namo Bhagavate?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
It's a little bit small.
Okay, all right, I'll just...
Okay, that's better. Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Chapter 9, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya, Yoga, the most confidential knowledge. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha, Idam tu te Guhyatamam, Pravikshyami Anasuyave, Gyanam Vigyanam Sahitam, Yajnatva Mokshase Subat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence. Rajavidya Rajaguyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartamavyayam. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. Ashradadana Purusha Dharmasya Parantapa Aprapyamam Nivartante Michu Sangsaravartmani. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me. O conqueror of enemies, therefore they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavastita. By me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Nachamatstani bhutani pasyame yogam aishvaram bhuta brinnacha bhutosto amatma bhuta bhavanaha. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation, for myself is the very source of creation. Yata kasha stito nityam vayu sarvatra mahan tata sarvani bhutani matstaniti upadaraya. Understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. Sarva bhutani kauntaya pakritim yanti mamekam kalpakshaye punastani kalpado vishrijamyaham. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. Prakritim sva avyastabhya Vishrijami puna puna bhutagramam idam kritsnam avasham prakritir vasat. The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again, and under my will, it is annihilated at the end. Nachamam tani karmani Nibbadananti dhananjaya Udasina vadasinam, ashaktam teshu karmashu. O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though neutral. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam etunanena kaunteya jagadviparivartate. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanamasritam param bhava majananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. Mogasa moga karma no moga jnana vichetasaha raksasim asurim chaiva prakritim mohinim shrita. Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. Mahatmanas mam partha, daivim prakritim asrita, bhajanti ananya manaso, gyatva bhutadim avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantas chadridhavrata namasyanta chamam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Jnana yagyena chapyanye yajanto mam upasate ekatvena pritaktvena bahuda vishvato mukham. Others who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form. Aham kratur aham yagya swadaham aham aushadam mantroham aham evajyam aham agnir aham hutam. But it is I who am the ritual, the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire and the offering. Pitaham asya jagato mata dhata pitamaha vejam pavitram omkara riksama yajra evacha. I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I am also the Rig, the Sama, and the Yajurvedas. Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasa Sharanam Surit Prabhava Pralayastanam Nidhanam Bijam Avyayam. I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place, and the eternal seed. Tapyaham aham varsham nigrinami utrijami cha amritam chaiva mrityus cha sadasat chaham Arjuna. O Arjuna, I give heat and I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality, and I am also death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me. Trividyama samapa putapapa yagir ishtva svargatim prartayante te punyam ashadya surendralokam asnanti divyan divideva bhogan. Those who study the Vedas and drink the soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planets of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. Te tan bhuktva svargalokam vishalam, shine punye marchalokam vishanti, evam trayi dharmam anuprapana, gatagatam kama kamalabante. When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure, and the result of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana parupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack, and I preserve what they have. Ye piyanya devata bhakta, yajante shrayanvata, te pimam eva kaunteya, yajanti avidhi purvakam. Those who are devotees of other gods, and who worship them with faith, actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way. Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhur eva cha natu mam abhijananti tapenatas chaivayanti te. I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. Yanti deva vrata devan pitrin yanti pitri vrata bhutani yante bhuteja yanti mamyachino pimam. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings, and those who worship me will live with me. Patram pushpam palam toyam yo me bhakta prayachati tadaham bhakti upakritam asnami prayadatmana. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. Yat karoshi yadasnasi yad jahoshi dazasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat karushva mararpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Subha subha pala evam mokshase karma bandhanai sannyasa yoga yuktatma vimukto mam upaishyasi. In this way, you'll be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me and this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshyo stina priya ye bhajanti tamam bhaktya mai teteshu chapyaham. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Api chet sudaracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak sadureva samantavya samyag vyavasito hisaha. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be understood, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma sashvakshantim nigachati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranasyati. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Mam hi partha vyaprasritya ye pisu papayonaya striyo vaishyas tata sudras te piyanti param gatim. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, vaishyas, merchants, and sudras, workers, can attain the supreme destination. Kim punar brahmana punya bhakta rajashayastata anityam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmins, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary, miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. Manmana bhavamad bhakto majaji mam namaskaru mam evaishasi yuktvaivam atmanam atparayanaha. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me.
Thank you so much, Mother Vishaka. That was very beautifully recited. I'm just going to now take us to the verse for today, which is.
Shall I read the verse in the purport? Is that how you do it?
Yes, Mother Vishaka, I'm trying to bring it onto the slide, but if you don't mind starting it at your end, you have the Bhagavad Gita with you.
Apichet sudaracharo bhajate mamananyabhak sadureva samantavya samyanyavasito hisaha. Api, even. Chet, if. Sudaracharaha, one committing the most abominable actions. Bhajate is engaged in devotional service. Mam, unto me. Ananyabhak, without deviation. Sadhu, a saint. Eva, certainly. Saha, he. Mantavyaha is to be considered. Samyak, completely. Yavastitaha, situated in determination. He, certainly. Saha, he. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. Purport. The word Sudaracharaha used in this verse is very significant, and we should understand it properly. When a living entity is conditioned, he has two kinds of activities. One is conditional, and the other is constitutional. As for protecting the body or abiding by the rules of society and state, certainly there are different activities, even for the devotees, in connection with conditional life. And such activities are called conditional. Besides these, the living entity who is fully conscious of his spiritual nature and is engaged in Krishna consciousness or the devotional service of the Lord, has activities which are called transcendental. Such activities are performed in his constitutional position, and they are technically called devotional service. Now, in the conditioned state, sometimes devotional service and the conditional service in relation to the body will parallel one another. But then again, sometimes these activities become opposed to one another. As far as possible, a devotee is very cautious so that he does not do anything that could disrupt his wholesome condition. He knows that perfection in his activities depends on his progressive realization of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, however, it may be seen that a person in Krishna consciousness commits some act which may be taken as most abominable, socially or politically. But such a temporary fall down does not disqualify him. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that if a person falls down but is wholeheartedly engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, the Lord, being situated within his heart, purifies him and excuses him from that abomination. The material contamination is so strong that even a yogi fully engaged in the service of the Lord sometimes becomes ensnared. But Krishna consciousness is so strong that such an occasional fall down is at once rectified. Therefore, the process of devotional service is always a success. No one should deride a devotee for some accidental fall down from the ideal path, for, as explained in the next verse, such occasional fall downs will be stopped in due course as soon as a devotee is completely situated in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, a person who is situated in Krishna consciousness and is engaged with determination in the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, should be considered to be in the transcendental position, even if by chance or accident he is found to have fallen. The words Sadar Eva, he is saintly, are very emphatic. They are a warning to the non-devotees that because of an accidental fall down, a devotee should not be derided. He should still be considered saintly, even if he has accidentally fallen down. And the word mantavyaha is still more emphatic. If one does not follow this rule and derides a devotee for his accidental fall down, then one is disobeying the order of the Supreme Lord. The only qualification of a devotee is to be unflinchingly and exclusively engaged in devotional service. In the Nrsimha Purana, the following statement is given. Bhagavati cha harav ananya cheta, brisha malinopi viraje manushyaha, nahi shasha kalusha chabi kadachit, timera prava bhavatam upaiti chandra. The meaning is that even if one fully engaged in the devotional service of the Lord is sometimes found engaged in abominable activities, these activities should be considered to be like the spots that resemble the mark of a rabbit on the moon. Such spots do not become an impediment to the diffusion of moonlight. Similarly, the accidental fall down of a devotee from the path of saintly character does not make him abominable. On the other hand, one should not misunderstand that a devotee in transcendental devotional service can act in all kinds of abominable ways. This verse only refers to an accident due to the strong power of material connections. Devotional service is more or less a declaration of war against the illusory energy. As long as one is not strong enough to fight the illusory energy, there may be accidental fall downs. But When one is strong enough, he is no longer subjected to such fall downs, as previously explained. No one should take advantage of this verse and commit nonsense and think that he is still a devotee. If he does not improve his character by devotional service, then it is to be understood that he is not a high devotee. Hare Krishna. We speak a few words now? That's
Yes, please, Mother Vishaka.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvase Sasinyavadi Pasyata Devataran Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So again, thank you so much for inviting me to be in your company. So wonderful to be able to share Bhagavad Gita with such a group intent on listening to Bhagavad Gita. It's very purifying to be with you. So I would like to take just a minute to zoom out from not only the verse, but even from the chapter. That if we look at the body of Vedic literature that Vedavyas composed, that we find that it's really vast. He started with the 4 Vedas. Some of them, 3 of them were mentioned in the verses that we read: the Samaveda, the Yajurveda, the Atharva Veda, the Rig Veda, and those were given to different people who expanded them in different ways. And Vedavyas himself continued. He wrote the Itihasas, the Puranas, the Upanishads, 108 Upanishads. It's a vast body of literature. The Mahabharata is there, the Ramayana. And of that vast literature, the essence is considered this Bhagavad Gita, which comes in towards the end of the Mahabharata. So here, right here, what we're studying is the essence of the Vedas. And Bhagavad Gita, we know, is completed in 18 chapters, and they're considered in sections of 6. The first 6 chapters deal more with, it's stated more with karma, and the final 6 chapters deal more with jnana, and it's these middle 6 chapters that are considered the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and they deal with devotional service, bhakti. And of these middle 6 chapters, which are so much the heart of Krishna, the essence of them is considered this chapter, chapter 9. And we find the title reflects that, the most confidential knowledge. So we may ask why, and in these verses towards the end of this chapter, we're understanding why. And Krishna here is revealing how much love he has for those who try to approach him, for his devotees. Just before this verse, we're reading text 30 now, we're looking at text 30. Just prior to this, he says to Arjuna, I envy no one, I'm not partial to anyone, I'm equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. So the Acharyas explain that this first part of this verse, where he's saying how he is impartial and equal to all, that's his mood as Paramatma, that he's in the heart of everyone, and there he's the witness, the overseer, the friend, the permitter, and in that way he's equal, just like it's compared to the rain. When it rains, the rain doesn't say, well, here's an ocean, I don't have to land on the ocean, or here are rocks, and there's no point on landing on rocks because nothing will grow. The rain falls everywhere without discrimination. But as Bhagavan, as Lord Sri Krishna himself, he says, whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. And Prabhupada gives the example that A king will protect everyone, a good king will protect everyone in his kingdom, or any leader. They want to see that all the living entities, even the non-moving living entities like trees, are not given unnecessary harm. But that same person, that same leader, will give special preference to his children. And that's natural, that's not to be criticized. So similarly, Krishna is saying that about his devotees, that he has so much love for his devotees. It's very reciprocal. He's illustrating a relationship that is so much reciprocal. And that's illustrated earlier in this chapter too. He's saying, if you worship the demigods, you'll go to the demigods. If you worship ancestors, you go to ancestors. If you worship the ghosts and spirits, you'll go to those beings. And if you worship me, you'll come to me. So love means reciprocation. It's not just that the devotees love God, but God also, Krishna also loves the devotees. And we're having a little glimpse of the extent of his love in this current verse. That if one is devoted to him and then by accident does something that should not be done, Prabhupada talks about this word sudurachara. So durachara means an act that should not be done, and su makes it even worse. Therefore, it comes out abominable, even worse than an action that should not be done. So now we come to this abominable action. So this devotee, due to bad habits, due to previous association, whatever it may be, Prabhupada gave the example that when he first started his Krishna consciousness movement, many of his disciples had very poor habits. And so if a disciple would come to him with sincerity and seriousness, and Prabhupada accepted him and tried to train him, sometimes that devotee might go with his former friends and say they were smoking and he used to smoke. And so out of habit, out of forgetfulness, he also smokes. So this is considered accidental. It was not premeditated. He did not intend to do that. And there it happened. And then the sign of his sincerity, of this fallen devotee's sincerity, is that he's remorseful. When he again wakes up to what Prabhupada has offered, to his new life in Krishna consciousness, then he thinks, what am I doing? What have I done? I've disappointed my spiritual master. This should not be. And so he rectifies himself and comes back to the path. So this is considered an accidental fall down, and it's not uncommon. The material energy is very strong. Krishna has established this in previous verses. It's very difficult to overcome this material energy, and it takes concerted effort, it takes dedication, it takes good association, it takes following the instructions of the spiritual master, it takes mercy. And sometimes in an immature state, this fall down will happen. And so we're being instructed by Krishna very strongly not to deride such devotees. So on the one hand, we're seeing Krishna's reciprocation with the effort of the devotee. On the other hand, Krishna is instructing us, do not deride these devotees who have this circumstantial fall down. This is displeasing to Krishna. That devotees are beloved to him, that they're part of his family, that they're in him, he says here. He is their friend, and he does not want to see them derided. So the instruction is very serious. We should take it very seriously. And our mood should be one like Krishna's, that we want the best for the devotees. We never want to criticize them. We want to rather encourage them, and we want to help them become strong, mature devotees. And this in itself is pleasing to Krishna. This is a repeated instruction here. So I have, see now if I can get it. I have here a Yes, this is a talk Prabhupada gave about this very verse. He says here that we must see how much a person is advanced in Krishna consciousness. That we have to see. And if we go on criticizing everyone, oh, you are not doing this, you are not doing this. So many things according to the Vedic culture. There may be so many things, but we're not concerned. As far as possible, people should be given the chance to develop Krishna consciousness. Rupa Goswami, one of the big acharyas, he says, Yena tena prakarena mana Krishna niveshayat. The first business is somehow or other, people should be Krishna conscious. The translation for this verse by Rupa Goswami is from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. One should fix his mind on Krishna by any means. All the rules and prohibitions mentioned in the Shastras should be servants of this principle. And what is the principle? One should fix his mind on Krishna by any means. Yena tena prakarena mana Krishna niveshayat. If one takes to that line of activities, Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness, then all things, all regulations will follow, just like a servant follows a master. If the master starts, the servant follows. Similarly, these things, rules and regulations, that will follow automatically. In the next shloka, the Lord says, Shipram bhavati dharmatma. Because he has taken to that Krishna consciousness, very soon he will be a perfect, pious person. This process will help him. Don't be too much anxious. Oh, I am not in such a way. I am not in such a way. Whatever way you may be, you just take to Krishna consciousness. It's a very easy thing. If you take to this Krishna consciousness, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, very sincerely and regularly as far as possible, by following the rules and regulations, this Krishna consciousness will help you to become a perfect and pious person very soon. Shipram. Shipram means very soon. So it's full of, Prabhupada is giving a message that is full of encouragement and hope. And we should feel that in our lives also, that Krishna consciousness is attainable. I may be, and I am, so full of faults, so full of disqualifications, in so many ways, character and behavior. But I do have this hope that despite my qualifications, despite my lackings in so many ways, that by the mercy of Krishna, by the mercy of Prabhupada, by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, that I can actually attain this Krishna consciousness even in this lifetime. And the process itself, as we heard earlier, is very joyful. It's a joyful process. It is not, we don't have to make it complex. Krishna is giving us so much facility. And simply if we apply ourselves, we will feel the results day by day. This itself, what you're doing here, reading Bhagavad Gita and immersing yourself in Bhagavad Gita every day for an hour, is such an inspiration for us to know that you're doing this. We thank you very much for it. We just have 2 minutes left. In this purport, Prabhupada mentions in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that if a person falls down, but is wholeheartedly engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, the Lord, being situated within his heart, purifies him and excuses him from that abomination. So that verse, we can just in the last minute here, read that very verse that Prabhupada is referring to. It's Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Text 17. It's a very famous verse. It goes like this. The chapter is called Narada's Instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam. One who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in the devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage. Yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. Yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful despite his fall down. On the other hand, A non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything. As it's said in the Christian tradition, what profiteth a man if he gains the whole world but loses his eternal soul? So in the same way, one can have so many riches, so much power, so much influence, so much fame, etc. But at the time of death, that person has no control over where he or she will go for the next lifetime. And that may be a very unfortunate birth if one is committed to impious activities. Whereas one who is engaged in devotional service, that has eternal benefit that we know from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And in this process, there's no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can save one from the most dangerous type of fear. So I think we wanted to have time for some discussion about these points. Is that
Yes. Thank you so much, Mother Vishaka, for that wonderful insight on this verse. That was very, very uplifting. So, dear devotees, Prabhus and Matajis, if you like to ask any questions or comments, or if you wish to share a reflection is something where you have liked a point which was shared by Mother Vishaka or from Srila Prabhupada's purport, and you like to reflect it back to help expand and illuminate the conversation, please feel free to do so. Or if you have any questions, please unmute yourself and feel free to say that. Or if you like to send a question via chat, I can read the question to Mother Vishaka as well. So over to all of you.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, Ashwin Prabhu, we can hear you.
Um, Mataji, I have never met a person who has actually been with Prabhupada. So I wanted to ask you a question as to, on a day-to-day basis, I'm quite keen to know how was Prabhupada on a day-to-day basis? Was he um, was he quite serious? Was he funny? Was he, just simple question, just an insight onto how he was as a person.
Hmm. Actually, I don't want to be shameless about this, but many years ago, I was asked a similar question, maybe more simple question, just what was it like to be with Srila Prabhupada? And that became the stimulus for me to write this memoir that Divyanam Prabhu mentioned before. But I would say on a day-to-day basis, Prabhupada was regulated, very much regulated in his daily activities, to the point that as his disciples, if we were not in the same place that he was, if we simply calculated the time difference, then we could have a very good idea of what Prabhupada was doing at that time. In other words, if it was very early in the morning, say 3 a.m., he was translating. And a little bit later, he was going for his walk. And then he was returning to greet the deities in the temple at 7. And then after Guru Puja, he was giving the discourse on Bhagavatam. He would have some breakfast. He would respond to his letters. In this way, the whole day, if you knew what time it was, where he was, you knew what he was doing. But at the same time, you may say that, well, that sounds very regimented. But he himself was very fresh, to the point that if you asked him a question, you would have, all you could know for sure was the answer would be 100% Krishna conscious. But what the answer would be, you could not predict, because you could ask him the same question at different times and you'd get a very different answer. So in that way, it was very fresh. As far as his humor, Prabhupada had an exceptionally strong sense of humor. He could turn a phrase, and because of the timing and his understanding of the circumstances, everybody would be laughing. It'd be very unexpected and fresh. So, and he also had a very serious side, in that he would, if he was displeased, he would express that. If he was feeling he wanted to make a philosophical point very strongly, he would do that and really impress upon us the import of that philosophical point so that we would really feel it in our hearts. So yeah, it's not possible to pin him into a serious or humor. He had many, many facets. He had a childlike facet, an innocent way of being, and he also had a way that was very sophisticated, that he could talk to PhDs and they would have to stop and reconsider their opinions and their position. So yeah, that's part of the fascination and the magnificence of Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Mataji, for this insight. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mother. Please obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. Thank you to the chat team as well for facilitating the opportunity. Mother, I had one question. Throughout your journey of Krishna consciousness, is there any one story from Srimad Bhagavatam that you can share with us which inspires you and makes you more stronger in Krishna consciousness? Any one story from Srimad Bhagavatam? Thank you.
Well, I have favorite stories, and the favorite stories change from year to year or sometimes from month to month. We were just in our classes at Bhaktivedanta Manor. We just finished the chapter about Dhritarashtra quits home. And I was so moved by the character of Vidura that Vidura tried his best for so long to rectify Dhritarashtra's mentality and activities, and just kept trying and trying to steer him on the right path, and was unsuccessful. And finally, when he was insulted by one of Dhritarashtra's sons, he left and he just went on pilgrimage, just like that, and had the fortune of associating with great Vaishnavas. And then he came back for the singular reason of again trying to rectify Dhritarashtra after the Battle of Kurukshetra. And at this time he was successful. Finally, Dhritarashtra was in a position where he could hear, and the words that Vidura spoke were so potent, so jolting, you could say, that Dhritarashtra got up and left and made tremendous progress, spiritually speaking. So for now, if you ask me next month, it might be different. But for now, I was so impressed by the qualities of Vidura as exhibited in this chapter. I think it's chapter 13 of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Thank you very much.
Mother Vishakha, I have a question here from Hema Mataji. She's asking, Vaishnav etiquette and behavior is key for a devotee as he represents his guru in ISKCON. So having read this verse, we can overlook the fall down. How can we explain the fall down and abominable behavior to the outside world who may judge the whole organization based on this behavior?
I couldn't hear the last part. Who may what based on this behavior?
So how can we explain the fall down and abominable behavior to the outside world who may judge the whole organization based on this behavior?
Yeah, well, this verse, as I was mentioning, refers to an accidental fall down. It's not referring to some kind of fall down that's premeditated. As Prabhupada says in the last paragraph of the purport, this verse is not to excuse abominable behavior on the part of a devotee, premeditated and taking advantage of the organization or of the kind-heartedness of the devotee, of the other devotees. So it has to be looked at with great discrimination, this verse. And it's referring to those who are immature devotees. So I think as far as the outside world, that people will understand that if someone is just coming into an organization, they're not yet up to the standard, and therefore there should be some leniency for them. Just like if you say someone's going into the army, right, and they're in boot camp or something, they're in training. So you don't expect them to be the full-fledged a soldier that's on the field. They're just learning. So similarly, for someone who does something abominable in this immature stage, they can be excused as just taking up the process and in the beginning stages of that process. It's not meant to be an excuse for those who have been around for a long time and have taken up serious responsibility in the organization. Those people, more is expected of those people. Is that okay? Did that satisfy the question?
I have another question here, Mother Vishakha, and the question is, yeah, Hema Mataji says, thank you so much for the answer. The question is, the question is one who know how practicing worship and to be consistent in it, but due to human nature, sometimes it is very difficult to chant Mahamantra. What is the key to remain connected with chanting in any situation?
The question is, what is the key to remain situated in chanting in any situation? Is that?
Yes, Father.
Okay. Yeah, well, a lot of it is good association. But certainly for among people who are chanting Hare Krishna, there's more likelihood that we will be inclined to chant. And also understanding through hearing. Through hearing, we understand the importance of chanting and what can be attained through chanting. So hearing is very important to keep up our enthusiasm. And then we need to find within ourselves the strength that I made this commitment. I know the importance of it. I don't want to disappoint people, myself and others. And so therefore, even though maybe one day or some days I'm not so enthusiastic, because I made the commitment, I will carry through and I'll organize my day so I have the time to chant. And then some days we'll want to chant, some days we won't want to chant, but if we chant anyway, we'll find that those days that we are not inclined decrease and decrease because the process itself is pleasing and the results within ourselves are also very pleasing. So we'll taste this, what they call paramdrisva nivartate, this higher taste, and then the process will become very sublime. So it's a question of finding the determination, putting ourselves in the right circumstances, means as far as possible amongst devotees, and hearing regularly so that we can be always reminded that what we're doing should not be taken casually. Rather, this is a great, great opportunity for us, and we don't want to let it slip by.
Thank you, Mother Vishakha. I have a reflection here from one Mataji. She's saying, I have fallen a couple of times due to being a new devotee. I feel these falls help me realize how much I want to stay with Krishna consciousness. It all feels like Krishna's mercy and understanding. This chapter really helps.
Wonderful.
I have another, it's a question or reflection. Let me read that. Yeah, I have Swati Mataji saying, thank you, Mother, for a very inspiring talk. Hare Krishna. And I have Nikai Mata who is saying, Hare Krishna, Mother Vishakha. Thank you very much for your insightful class. This is in fact a question as I did not know, rather. I was a bit hesitant to speak to these devotees where I observed that they do not chant, where they do not keep up their vows to their spiritual master. I left their association. What would be the best way to help them? Definitely not by me directly. So can this also be taken as an accidental, as they do involve in kirtan but not chanting?
I'm not 100% sure that I understand the situation, but just to say in a general way that we do definitely want to avoid criticizing devotees. And if we want to inspire them, we can find something good they're doing and mention that. And always the best inspiration is for ourselves to be chanting and relishing the chanting and behaving more and more as a Vaishnava, allowing those 26 qualities of a Vaishnava to shine from within ourselves. And that in itself is a great inspiration. If we look to Prabhupada's example, at first he did not demand that the devotees chant 16 rounds, that they follow the four rules and regulations, but rather he himself was so attractive that the devotees were inspired to do what he wanted them to do. They wanted to understand the philosophy, and as they became attached to him, they wanted to please him. And as he gave them instructions, you give up this, you accept this, they became eager to do that just from their affection for him and how intriguing and uplifting the philosophy was. So certainly we don't have that kind of potency, but we can take the example that let us be involved in Krishna consciousness sincerely, and that itself will be attractive to others.
Right, beautiful. I have another question here. It's saying, Mataji is saying, is listening to Mahamantra same as chanting?
Listening to Mahamantra is good, but we're also meant to chant japa, which means that we have the beads, and on each bead we chant the full mantra, and we go around 108 beads to make a round, what's called a round. So yeah, listening is very good, but also chanting is necessary.
Thank you. Meenakshi Mataji is saying, thank you so much for a wonderful class. Thank you from another Mataji for amazing and insightful realization. Thank you so much. Nitai Maharaj is thanking you for the answer, Mother Vishaka. Any more comments or questions? You can also unmute yourself and ask directly. I have Hare Krishna, Mother. Thank you so much for a very insightful class and explaining this verse fully and the true meaning, and that it should not be misinterpreted. The difference between accidental and premeditated wrong actions. Thank you so much. That was a very nice. That was a reflection from Darshana Mataji.
Thank you for your encouragement.
Okay. Any more last comments or questions from Mother Vishaka? Right. Okay. Yep. The devotees are just thanking you, Mother Vishaka, one after another. It was a wonderful to have your association. Thank you so much for the enlightening class.
For allowing me to be amongst you.
So I would just like to request you, Mother Vishaka, to just give us any concluding words, any instructions, how we can carry on and stay close to this transcendental vibration, both of Bhagavad Gita and the Holy Name, and so that we can develop some determination. If you like to please say some concluding words for our benefit.
Well, I would encourage you to continue this. I mean, I think it was begun because of this lockdown situation, and it's certainly a wonderful product of the lockdown that through this external lockdown, all of us can be opened up to the beauty of the Bhagavad Gita and Krishna's teachings. So we should continue this so that even after society opens up, we will be even more free to continue this study of Bhagavad Gita in a daily way, because it will improve our lives every day, a little at a time. So please continue. Please do not stop relishing Bhagavad Gita and Prabhupada's other books, and please chant Hare Krishna and come ever closer and closer to Lord Shri Krishna and Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mother Vishaka. I have a comment from Amit who is saying, thank you so much, Mother, for your presence. It was very nice. I have a devotee called Gopal Prabhu who's asking, how can I get involved in this Bhadra campaign? I've heard. Yes, Prabhu, you can get involved. I will post my number now in the chat. and you can contact me later on through that number. And also on next Sunday, which is Bhakti Vinod Thakur's disappearance day, we will be doing a special contact calling for an hour, and I'll be sharing the details of that maybe a couple of days before that, and everybody will have the opportunity to call your contacts and let them know about these wonderful scriptures and books of Srila Prabhupada. And if they want to have them, we can post them via courier. Now I would like to just bring today's session to conclusion. I have also another message. Thank you for stressing, Mother, how grateful we are to be in Krishna consciousness, that we should take this Krishna consciousness so sincerely. That's from Divya Gaurangi Mataji. Thank you. So, Mother Vishakha, once again, thank you so much for giving us your association. We request you, I personally request you on behalf of my family and all the members of the chat, and on behalf of Vrindavan Chand Prabhu and Mukunda Hari Prabhu, who's doing this service so wonderfully, that please, whenever you do have any time free, just drop us a message and join us to lead us into one of these verses. It'll be wonderful to have your constant association. You're a great example for all of us, and I definitely feel very nourished and very, very uplifted in my consciousness having taken your association this evening.
Thank you so much for your encouragement, and thank you for you and your team for starting this chapter a day program. It's very wonderful.
Thank you, Mother Vishakha. Thank you so much, dear devotees. We would like to convey our gratitude to Mother Vishakha by by chanting 3 Hari Bols as we exit. So you can unmute yourself as we conclude, and then we will thank Mother Vishakha by loud Hari
Hari
Bols.
Bol.
Hari
Hari
Bol!
Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Shila
Srila
Hari
Prabhupada ki
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Bol. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mother Vishakha. Hare Krishna, Harivan.
Hare Krishna.
Hi, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Dhanavad pranam, Mother. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Please join us again sometime.
Thank you so much.
Please join us again. Thank
Yes,
you.
please, Mother
Hare
Vishakha,
Krishna.
please join us again and enlightening us our soul again. Please, 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 please.